Wednesday to do another live recording here on YouTube. I did a bunch yesterday, like a lot, and I was like, I need to recover from that. And then this morning, I was like, nope, I don't need to recover from that. I'm gonna do more. Enjoy connecting with everybody. I'm gonna check my audio here real quick, just to make sure you guys can hear me. Um, there we go. So, no one's in here yet, but I am going to start because people like to watch, these back. And for anybody who wants to participate, I'd love for you to join in the chat and make any comments. Please remember that this is how I'm making a living right now at this time, so I can't really answer, too personal questions, but I can try. If it comes to me and if I see it and it's clear, then I will try to answer those questions. If you'd like to book a reading, you can visit my website, oracledaphne.com. Also, you can book a reading through my Etsy shop. My listings are on there. I prefer people, it's so simple, just to send me a payment through PayPal or Venmo for a reading, and then I can just get back to you. I usually get back to people within 24 hours. So booking readings, my 30-minute reading is $75. My 45-minute reading is $90. My prices are a little bit, I have gone up a little bit, but if you refer anybody, it's $10 off for those people. So please make referrals. If you watch this video, and you know somebody, definitely refer. So I can't see who that is that's joined, but hi. Thank you so much for joining the live reading that I'm doing today. I do want to share really quickly. I've got this amazing tea that hopefully will inspire someone who's watching. I made this. You can see there's like a pine branch floating in my tea. And I'm obsessed with pine needles tea. So those of you who need kind of like a refresher or like pick me up, I definitely recommend pine needles tea. It is awesome and it is just the most refreshing thing ever. So yeah, that's my spiel about, booking readings. Donations are appreciated this time. Right now, it's an uphill climb for my rent. I don't know how I'm going to put that together. I've been trying to pick up gigs and trying to do readings, and it's just not looking pretty for March. So any amount, if you sent, even if it was like $50, $10, it doesn't matter. I appreciate all of it. It's just an uphill climb right now to get there. So that being said, I am going to jump in and pull. I am pulling first a life path, and then I'm going to pull some cards. So we've got now my life path archetypes. If you're new to watching this or watching this later, my life path archetypes are archetypes that I have that I've collected and I've worked on after seeing so many clients have specific things that kind of go on in their lives, people that have lives that are more stuck or people that have lives that are more fluid. I did pull the pomegranate path, and I'm going to pull another one. Pomegranate did come up yesterday, so I want to pull another one to see if there's anything else that I am going to get as far as a path here. Okay, so with these two together, you got the pomegranate is a difficult path, but I also pulled the roadside path, and the roadside path is the hardest path to go down. It says roadside. It's the hardest path to go down, and I'm getting a tingle on this. So my guides are like, I need to talk about this. So I talked about this in one of my first live recordings. I think it was my Instagram one where I talked about the roadside path and what that means. And if you're watching this later in time, or if you're watching this now, the roadside path, it is absolutely imperative that you, reach out to friends and family, people that are loving, people that are supportive. If you're suffering from depression, or if you're suffering from not like a lack of will or a lack of drive or a lack of motivation, it's very important to just keep going. It's very important. Oh, hi, Silly. Thanks so much for joining. Um, and yeah, there's a lot of people at this time are going to be in this energy. Myself, I have been in this energy for like the last 4 days since Saturday. Um, a little bit, not a lot. Like here, like this already sounds like me. Yeah, like this energy is very challenging. The reason I'm going through there was something that kind of was like a catalyst for me, but then I started to see the portal of light, the doorway that's filled with light when you pass. And it became very clear to me that I had to make some choices on a spiritual level, on a conscious level. And so this is about honestly making choices on a conscious level, on a, saying out loud that you're choosing to stay here, you're choosing to be here. For me, this is a very personal thing because I went through this whole period of time where I didn't have anybody really hanging on to my energy. Um, I didn't feel like I had the support that I needed. And because of that, because I'm such a spiritual person and my energy is so way, way up there, it's very bad for me to go through anything that causes severe stress or causes like could cause like a near death experience because I could cross like that. It's it's really bad and I need to have more people around. And the reason I'm sharing this is because this whole experience the last 4 or 5 days has really taught me that there have been people that have shown up that are holding on to my energy. And because they're holding on to my energy and literally willing for me to be here, it's helping me ground into this moment and ground into this energy. And so it is no joke when I say that people who are going through similar things where, they're struggling, they're maybe in a zone of depression or in a zone of not really knowing how to push forward in their life, or they're just really down, or they're having thoughts that they wouldn't normally have. And these are definitely thoughts about, should I stay alive? What's the point? Considering their options, not really feeling like they have options. And I have to say that this whole pandemic pushed everybody into a corner. It pushed everybody into the trash, basically, into the crud. And it just made it much, much harder to you're saying yes. Yeah. It made it much, much harder for everybody to actually feel like empowered to take control of their lives and to do things. For me, it's a little bit different because my energy is so way up there. And it's more of like, for me, if something triggers me real hard, it's really, really bad. Or any kind of near death experience is really, really bad. And not to say that other people don't have that, but I feel like people that are just feeling like they're backed into a corner, or feeling like they don't have options, or feeling like they can't move forward, or feeling like the energy isn't flowing right, then there are things that absolutely need to be addressed. This needs to change, basically. This energy needs to be changed, but it's definitely been, the pandemic has definitely caused this feeling to happen for most people. And I kind of knew this was coming, but it's totally different to, I think, know about something ahead of time and then to go through it, and to watch people go through it. And the reason I created these life path archetypes, is so that I could talk about these things, because I witnessed a friend of mine, and who I was in love with, and he passed away. And I created this roadside path so that I could basically talk to someone and prevent someone from continuing to go down that path. And the pomegranate is about things that are short-lived. The pomegranate path is about a shooting star person, a person who's not here for very long. And the roadside path is the dead end. It is end game.
and people must change. Like the pomegranate path, the lesson, and I talked about this in the other video, but I'll talk about it here. The lesson really is more about people. See, no, no, no. Like, so, yeah, well, okay, so when I say no, there are people that want you to live. There are people that want you to live on this planet. And life right now, there's something regenerative that's happening right now because of the spring energy that is going to shift things, I think, in a good direction. But I also feel like a lot of people have those thoughts, like it's just very challenging energy. And so you are definitely wanted and needed on this planet. If you're here, you're wanted and needed on this planet at this time. You know, I always think about like the family tree, where with the family tree, we forget. Like I did my lineage, and I'm related to the first governor of Massachusetts. He was my great grandfather, and I'm related to all these other crazy people because of him. And I brag about that because I'm proud of him. And at the same time, like we forget about all the people that came before us that made it happen for us to be here. I'm glad that you're feeling better. People have good days and they have bad days, and they have days where they're just like not able to really function the best, and then other days where they're more functional. Um, it's important to clear your space. It's important to have any kind of plants around you. Go to any kind of shop that has plants and connect with the plants. I feel like that's very important. It's important. Okay, so like the little things are important when you're on this path. Okay, so like when I lived in Omaha, my guys are showing me I need to share this. When I lived in Omaha and I worked from home, I was glued to my computer. I was glued. I couldn't leave. I mean, I had two 15-minute breaks, but they went by so fast, and I don't even remember. Like, I remember when I was working from home and I was glued to my computer and they were all about production. I would literally take those 15 minutes to lay down in my bed and sleep. And then I'd wake up again and go back. And sometimes I'd eat on my breaks, but I mean, it wasn't like I was um, really feeling like those breaks did anything for my day. And as soon as my day was over, I'd log out, I'd slam my computer down, and then I'd jump in my car and I'd go get a matcha green tea latte from Starbucks just to talk to somebody, just to have the human to human contact, which I absolutely needed. And even if like it was just one of those things where I started to do, okay, I lost connection for a second, but I'm back. Okay. So I was saying that like would go to Michael's, or I'd go to Hobby Lobby, or I'd go to TJ Maxx, or I'd go someplace after my shift was over. I'd jump in my car and I'd go. And that gave me something to do, like that was immediate, that helped shift my energy. And it's important for you to do that also. So I don't care, like get into a routine every day where it's something that you go to where you have some human to human contact. That's very important. Also, okay, so the thing that someone once told me, and he's a very dear friend of mine, and he is holding on to my energy. He once said that if you decide not to stick around, then you'll miss the chance um, to have something better. I'm getting a tingle on this. You have to give you have to give it a chance. You got to give life a chance to have something better. You have to sometimes wait things out, go through things. Um, yeah, for you, I can see that the isolation is not good for you. You need to have some form of contact, and you need to have someone that you can call if you get into a low state where you feel like, okay, this is really it, you know, and you need to have somebody to call. You can call the crisis line. For me personally, I have a friend that I can call if I feel like my energy is tanking, if I feel like I can't hold it. Sometimes it's a thing about holding it too. Sometimes the energy just it's like it crashes, and you can't control it. It's like a thing where it's like 1 minute you're okay, and the next minute, you could easily go into that low state. And when you go into that low state, it's very difficult to come out of it. And a lot of things go through your mind, which wouldn't normally go through your mind, but they do. So you absolutely need to have a friend that you can call or talk to that says, hey, I want you to stay. And I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to say the words that I want you to stay because you're important. Everything that you do and everything that you say matters. I've been through periods in my life where I felt like nothing I did matters. And right now, with the algorithm sucking so bad on Instagram and Twitter and freaking YouTube, it makes everybody feel like what they're doing doesn't matter. It makes the connection really hard. Despite the fact that we have social media, everybody feels in some way isolated, So human-to-human contact is super important at this time. Any routines that you can get into, super important at this time. Even if you don't drink coffee and you don't want to go and have tea or something, you need to go and have a little routine somewhere. Okay, so funny thing is that, one of my, I don't know if it was a therapist or someone who once told me this. I think it was a chiropractor. When I lived in Virginia, I got into a car accident and my energy was struggling. I was really, really struggling just to go to work and just to come home. I just was having a tough time. And well, I'm so glad that what I've said has helped. That means a lot. That's really good. That's really, really good. So this chiropractor I went to told me, she's like, your stress levels are just so high. She's like, I can tell, like all of your muscle responses, your stress levels are just, just out of control. Like you need to calm down, you need to relax. But I told her, I said, I am relaxed. And she's like, no, you're not. She's like, you need to start doing things that will relax you. You need to start flirting with the guy in the meat department. You need to start maybe going out on some dates. You need to start going places that relax you. And this is important because if people's stress levels get really high, they start to act out of character. Not only do they feel maybe isolated and like crap and like, you don't want to be here anymore, but you start to feel like, I don't know, just overly stressed. Like it's really hard to control your responses to stress, and it's really hard to de-stress when everything is stressing you out. Basically, when life is stressing you out. So I'm glad that this helped someone, and I'm glad that I'm reading this because because honestly, if I could go back in time and do things over again, I might have said something different, with my friend who died. I remember spending all day, I actually was off work one day and I spent all day texting him about how he needed to switch paths, how he needed to make changes. I told him, I was like, I keep seeing the tower. I keep seeing the tower. What the fuck is going on? Something bad is going to happen and I don't know what it is. And it's driving me crazy. And like, you need to switch paths. You need to do it now. And he just didn't understand. He didn't really get it. And maybe like I could have pushed harder. Maybe I could have said, you're gonna die if you don't switch paths, but how can you say that to someone, and or something. I don't know. Maybe I could have pushed harder and been like, we need to meet immediately. This is a state of emergency. We need to meet and we need to have this conversation, you know? But I think that with people that have, especially who have had issues with their personal life, where they have gotten themselves into a corner, where they have felt like they're in a corner and there's no backing them out, and they could be very stubborn, very willful, very like, these are my habits. These are the things that I am not willing to give up. These are the things I don't want to lose. This is how it's got to be for the kids. This is how it's got to be for the finances. This is how it's got to be for whatever other reason. So then people start saying, well, there isn't really an option. And there are always options. It's just sometimes those options are painful or hard. And I always tell people make little small changes, and people build things up so big. They build things up. But at the same time, the people that are going to be watching this some of them who are on this path, a big change is needed. Absolutely a big change is needed. Like a major big change. And sometimes this to me is like, sometimes when I'm reading, I'll see the tower as an outcome. And the tower as an outcome has come from people putting off a big change for so long. Like, that's what I started to notice. I started to notice that it only came after a long period of time. And, the tower in other position pops up in different positions, but the tower as an outcome, usually it's 10 years in the making. Usually it's 20 years in the making. Usually there's been some other things that have led up to that point. So usually it takes people time to get to a point where they're broken, or get to a point where they're at a state of stress or duress. Definitely message comments and let me know if you understand what I mean. Like, it's like a buildup. It's not like it's like overnight. I mean, people can go from overnight to having that feeling, but usually not. You're saying that when we are in the space of despair, we have to make that choice. Yeah, for him it was him not making, he chose not to. Right. And nothing I could have said or done, I think, for some people is going to really make that much of a difference. And that's the hard part, that's really the hard part. There was something else I think that you said. I don't remember what you said. Yeah, things pile up. Yeah. Like it's time, things that are in the making. Like, it just doesn't come, people don't talk about this. They don't talk about how, with mental health, that it's usually a gradual thing. People don't pop out of the womb going, I want to die. People don't pop out going, this life isn't worth living, or they don't pop out of the womb thinking life sucks and shit sucks. It's just life that happens gradually over time. And sometimes it's little things, and sometimes it's big things, and sometimes it's just how life sort of piles up, where there's responsibilities and people feel backed into some corner, or there's not even a corner. People are just like, this sucks. Why should I even do it? And right now with this pandemic, I absolutely do feel that there's a significant amount of darkness that's around pretty much everybody, and it's still working its bullshit. And I am not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. And you can look back at my wake up call video that I did in 2020, where I saw that this was coming. But again, It's really hard to see something coming. It's different to see something coming and then yet also live through it, you know? Oh, I was talking about the pomegranate path. I think I was reading a comment. I wanted to make the pomegranate path very clear. Okay. So the pomegranate path is usually for people who are living large. Sometimes there's substance abuse. Sometimes there's people on this path that that need to love themselves first before they can love you. And if there's a situation where you're like, okay, life sucks, or this sucks, or a relationship sucks, or anything that's maybe not fair, or maybe that's not healthy, or maybe that's not good for you. This is where, to me, the pomegranate path has a lot of the fire energy, the Leo energy, the Sagittarius energy, the Aries energy. It's a person who needs to love themselves first, but they a lot of times burn other people before they do. And if you're on the path of this person, if you're on the path of the pomegranate, then you are either going to get burned by somebody who's being selfish and needs to love themselves first, or you're going to burn someone else and you're teaching them a lesson. So it can be either. I'm going to pull a few cards, so, just to see what we get here. Yeah, I definitely see the anxiety and depression coming up in the cards. I do see a new job coming through. I did see that in one of my other ones yesterday. So those of you who are looking for a new job, that's going to come through. There's also this thing about an apprenticeship or craftsmanship and having making things, the artists, the woodworkers. Someone works, likes to work with their hands. This can also mean climbing the ladder or starting off small in a business and then seeing results later. So maybe starting in someplace in career that may be like entry level, like an entry level position, and then climbing later into a more substantial role. Those of you who are older, who maybe like have had, many years doing different things, to me this is maybe stepping into a career that's next level. This is climbing the ladder, next level career, or yeah, it feels like it could be next level at least that's what I'm seeing, but not maybe for the people right now who are in this chat. Could be people that are watching later. I don't know. It's hard because I'm not totally resonating with how that's going to play out. It's going to be different for everybody. I feel like it's going to play out for some of you more of just a new job. For others, it's going to be a business growing and seeing good results. I see that there's an element of risk here with the wheel. I feel like the wheel in the upright is a yes. So if you're wanting to know something, to me, it's like a yes. If you want to know if you want to do it, but the element of risk here, I see this usually when people are kind of going through a transition and they want to know if something's going to pan out. And if I see this, then typically that means there's an element of risk. If they do it, then the grass might not be as green on the other side, or if they do it, they might end up maybe having to work very long hours, or maybe not getting the raise immediately, or like some element of sacrifice, or maybe they'll have to move for it, So to me, that there's an element of risk in that way. It's not like, a lot of times it's not a big risk. It's just a sort of like, are things going to pan out exactly perfectly the way you want them to when this shows up? Not necessarily. There is something about speed here. You got this card, which is really interesting, about swift success and things changing. To me, this is like one of if I saw like arrows, if I see arrows, to me that's swift success. To me, that's the things being kind of a whirlwind. Can be the winds of change. I see it as the winds of change, which to me brings a lot of prosperity, a lot of joy, things turning out for the better. Because of the speed at which it's coming. Like to me, there's something that's moving very fast in your direction. Things may, like, okay, so this is specific only if those of you who are married, okay, those of you who are married and you know that this is coming, there may be like a breakup or divorce that happens really fast. Like, like all of a sudden, maybe out of the blue, a partner asks for a divorce. Um, it could be someone who's you're dating also where they're just like, okay, this isn't going to work. Um, and that news might be like an oh shit kind of thing where it's just like suddenly you have to think about finances, if there's collective finances between the two of you. It's very strange that I'm seeing these two cards together. Some of you, like, there's like a combination of things happening. To me, it's like the combination of maybe someone that shows up in your life unexpectedly, or maybe they send you flowers, or maybe they send you something unexpectedly. But it's happening fast, and it's like coming faster than you would expect. Um, it's not much time before that happens. But then there's also this sorrow or stress about finances or about feeling hurt or feeling upset about like a breakup. Um, there's like this energy about wanting to find a love partner, like a real true love partner. And you need to not lose hope. Like I think going back to what we were talking about with these paths, like it's important that you don't lose hope. It's important that you stay like steady in your life. Get into a routine, get into habits, even if the sky is falling, get into those routines, get into those habits, and make sure you're showing up for yourself. Like, I think we've been programmed for so long, like really long, from the time we were very little. We started off preschool, we got into the whole mode of showing up for other people. We showed up to go to school our entire freaking life. You know, we showed up for our parents, did what they wanted us to do. We showed up and then we went on to work for I don't know how many years and jobs that we probably hated. And if we didn't fully hate them, we mostly hated them. And even if there was somebody who said, yes, I really enjoy my job, maybe it wasn't the money maybe wasn't great, or maybe it was okay, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't worth being programmed and enslaved to do it, so give yourself permission at this time to just show up for yourself, to just not have to show up for anybody else. Like if you even regardless of your job status, regardless of your marriage status, regardless of your relationships and people and friends and how many people are out there, doesn't matter right now. The message is to show up for you. Show up for yourself, no matter what. And I feel like those of you need to hear it. Your finances are going to improve. There is going to be improvement there. I feel like your finances are going to improve from generous people. Fire sign women, water sign women specifically. Two cards that are coming up about divorce or separation. Something about getting into some kind of commitment which ends like a history maybe of bad habits. Like, I think that people get into bad habits in relationships, bad habits of texting other people, sleeping with other people. To me, there's something about being authentic and real here, getting into a relationship that's authentic and real. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, you got the balanced relationships card, which is about friendships. Some of you developing healthy friendships that could lead to more. But to me, this is having a long-term relationship. And it's so interesting. I'll share this interesting story. Like, so a long time ago, before I moved to Omaha, I was putting posts on Craigslist to see, this is before they changed the whole Craigslist thing about personal ads. So like I was putting posts there to see if anybody wanted to go out on a date, anybody who wanted like a long-term relationship. And I mean, think you still can put it, but they'll take it down. So I was putting it and I was getting a massive response. And it led to this whole discussion about what a long-term relationship would be and what it would look like. And I came to the conclusion that most people do not know what a long-term relationship looks like. They don't know what it entails. Like, people get into marriages, yeah, but it's not like, and they know, but I'm not really convinced even they know. Because usually people who get married get a divorce. So I'm not convinced. So like message me, for those of you who are listening, message me in the comments here and let me know what you think a long-term relationship looks like. What does it entail? A commitment to somebody for an extended period of time? How many times a week do you sleep with them? You know, is it a closed relationship? Is it an open relationship? Do you do things together? Do you do everything together or just some things? What do you share? Do you share your finances or do you share, a business, or do you share, what do you share? What's shared, All these things are very interesting to me because I just feel like nobody really knows, like, I don't know. So like all these people came back to me and were very interested in dating. Unfortunately, the majority of them I was not attracted to at all. So I couldn't honestly go on dates with them. I'm trying to think if I went on any dates. I think I did go on a date I did go on a date in Omaha. I remember going on a date in Omaha. I'm not sure if I went on any dates from those posts when I lived in Ellensburg. I have to think back on that. I'm not sure. I think I started to let everybody down easy, and then I gave up emailing everybody back because I was like, I just don't have time to email all these people. But yeah, I think that there are people that are looking for long-term relationships, Absolutely. So if you're wanting a long-term relationship, put yourself out there and tell people in the beginning when you're dating that you want a long-term relationship. Honestly, it doesn't matter though when you tell people in the beginning what you want, because usually the relationship ends because later what you said in the beginning wasn't heard. So if you tell somebody in the beginning, I want a long-term relationship, most likely they just want to have sex with you. And they'll tell you later, oh, by the way, I just wanted to have sex with you. Most people, if you tell in the beginning, I just want to have sex with you, later, and they say, well, I want to sleep with, I don't have any other people, then they'll go sleep with all these other people and you'll be like, well, I just want to have sex with you. And they'll be like, well, I wanted to sleep with all these other people. So you're kind of doomed from the start in relationships, no matter what you say. Although, if you tell people in the beginning what you want, at least it gives you a shot, and I'll wink here, at trying to get what you're wanting. Most likely, the universe has other plans. So you are, I hate to say this, doomed from the start. But don't take that literally, because I'm trying to be encouraging to people at this time. something about settling down here. I don't know when this is going to happen, but I feel like someone that's watching or listening wants to settle down. I definitely see that there's an energy about wanting to settle down. There's something about family here too. Someone who's very focused on their family and their kids. Some of you, it's a young child that may have difficulty sleeping. We have the Six of Swords. I actually really like this card. It's really great for those of you who do have a child who's younger. This just could be like a little toddler to someone who's actually like a child that's closer to maybe 5 or 6. I don't usually see this being as like an older child, but it can be. This can be a little boy, could be a little girl. Either way, usually this makes it so that they're going to sleep easier through the night, which is actually really good news for some of you. I do like to encourage people to do like essential oils as like aromatherapy for sleeping, and to create like no noise or like ambient noise, or I also have told people like baths at night are actually, I'm not a big fan of baths or showers at night because they stimulate the body, they stimulate the hormones. So if you give your kids a bath at night, most likely they're going to stay up. They're not going to want to go to sleep. They're stimulated, Like if I take a shower in the morning, I'm stimulated, I'm awake. Like there's nothing that's going to put me to sleep like that. So it's something that, changing habits would be good. Changing habits would be good in that way, or trying it, saying, okay, we're going to switch to maybe baths in the morning or showers in the morning and get into a routine that way. Bedtime habits, even for those of you adults who are listening, who maybe don't have kids, or even if you do, this is where you turn your cell phone off. You don't answer your phone all night. You don't look at your phone all night. The nights that I look at my cell phone, I don't go back to sleep, or it's hard for me to go back to sleep. So do not look at your cell phone all night. Like just turn it off and don't look at it. Okay, I'm going to go into my some of my fragments. With my deck here. Some of you have a very, like your needs are, like you're very needy. That's the nice way to say it. You might be also in contact with what I would call a vamp, a person who is very draining. You need to avoid people that are very, very draining. Okay, draining of your energy, because it's not healthy. It's just not healthy. And I always say energy goes from high to low. So like if your energy is way up, a lot of times you'll attract people whose energy is lower than yours. That's just how it goes. The whole moth attracted to the flame kind of thing. Okay, someone's partner, if they're female, okay? You could be gay and have a female partner. It doesn't matter. You could be male and have a female partner. If there's a female partner, they're cheating with more than one person. If you're not married, the girlfriend is cheating. And it's physical. I see there's a physical thing. Most of you, not everybody, but I'm reading it. So someone here that's listening is going, that's what's happening. Some of you are going to end up in a blended family. There's something about a blended family here with kids from a previous marriage. Maybe you're already in a blended family, or like a future partner would become part of your family, maybe with their kids. There's something about a blended family here. To me, this is about having kids in the future with someone like that's, that would be that would create kind of some kind of blended family. If you're single, this is getting married to someone with kids. So if you have kids, maybe you'll get married to someone who doesn't have kids, or maybe they will, but there's something about the blended family here. There is something about having like a wildish home environment. And it's funny, I talked about this in my other reading on Instagram, how people's home life and their home energy a lot of times gets very gunky. This is a very chaotic environment. Kids, um, especially if those of you who have like um, older kids, teenage kids, but this can have meaning like having a lot of people coming and going in your home, having a lot of somehow chaos in your home, having a lot of just like this movement type energy that creates this chaos. So for like me, for example, I live in a college town. There's college kids everywhere. On any given day and any given night, there's some party going down and they're up all night or somebody's up all night. And so there's this element of maybe not getting to sleep that you need, um, or the rest that you need. And this kind of wildness does not help especially if you have children who need to sleep. This kind of chaos does not help them because kids feed off of energy. There's also something about debts. Some of you are going to be focused on maybe paying off your debts or having a lot of bills to pay. Sorry, I need to get some tea here. Drinking my pine tea. Some of you're kind of like, some of you have put actually like having sex on a back burner. Not everybody, but maybe you're focused on other things like career, money, maybe not really caring so much about sex at this time. It's interesting because I think there are some people that watch YouTube and there are people that are asexual. They're not that sexual. I think we all go through periods in a time where we're more sexual and then other times when we're not as much. So, you might be going through like a dry spell. It's kind of what I'm thinking. You might be kind of in a dry spell for some of you, not for everyone. I did pull, well, this is one of my favorite cards actually. I don't know why I'm giggling. I don't know. It's a funny energy. Okay, so this is the male handyman card. This is the electrician, the plumber, the roofer, the carpenter, any kind of industrial designer, the metal worker, the construction worker, someone who likes his tools, his bikes, his gadgets, and his tractors. And so I don't know why I'm laughing. This is the card that I pulled. I see it literally as being someone who does work with their hands. They have some kind of craft. Going back to the whole craft thing, I definitely feel like there's something to do with craft and making things. I'm actually, it's so weird. I have a cousin, a second cousin, like an older second cousin, who makes kind of like inventive type things. And there was a point in time when I was in school that I kind of wanted to make some very complicated type, I don't know what you would call them, like machines or fun like complicated toys. I don't know how to explain it. And I went through this whole period of time wanting to do that, mainly because I was inspired by, I don't know where it was. I think it was the Chicago airport. It probably was Chicago. I don't know. And they had this really complex like train. It was like a train, or maybe it was like it was like this metal thing, and it had all these pieces and all these like gears and things like that. Some of you just have a very mechanical mind. You're very mechanical minded. Some of you are maybe like your dream person is someone who have yet to meet. But you will. There's something about the future not being written for some of you with regards to love life. You need to believe that you need to start believing that there is a person for you. The problem with this is that a lot of people believe that there's one person, and then when they meet a person, they think that that one person is it, but then they get disappointed because it's not, they're not it. And that's the discouraging part. So it's possible that that's what's happening, but it's also possible that it just needs to be where you stay positive about your future, stay positive about your love life no matter what happens. You also got what I call the vacuum card. Oh, the vacuum card. I have all these things in my deck. The vacuum card is about lusting after things, needing things. Again, the whole thing about needs. Like it's like never really enough, never enough money, never enough spiritual experiences. This can be a person who wants very badly to feel full, to feel content and peaceful. Like if like let's just say hypothetically. So usually this comes up for someone who has a material issue. Now, this could be someone in your life that doesn't have to be you. This could be someone who's just very like material, where they take up a lot, and it's like it's never really they're never satisfied no matter what they have, no matter what kind of car they drive, no matter what kind of house they have, like they're never satisfied. And they want more and more and more for themselves. Now we've all got the programming. We all have this programming that it isn't enough because it's capitalism and we're driven to go out and buy and spend, and it's in everything. It's in everywhere we look. It's everywhere all the time, 100% capitalism. We have that. It's ingrained. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think this to me is a person who it's like they're vacuuming, trying to vacuum, and they're just taking everything. They're taking everything for themselves. And it's like what they're trying to extract out of life is a sense of completion, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of contentment. And the thing that they're really wanting is I wrote never enough real. And it's interesting. So for most people, the way to solve this is to have a real, authentic experience in life. Like really authentic, heart to heart, or really authentic, like relationship, or really authentic, I don't know. When I say experience, it could just mean a really authentic friendship or a really authentic interaction with somebody who's open. And I don't know, the thing about the fulfillment I think comes from places that are real. And most people are in our culture are not real. There's all these levels, there's all these levels of bullshit. So, like, if you're in a relationship to someone who's not real, or if you're in a relationship with somebody who's very materialistic and it's never really enough for them, then you're not going to be able to you're not going to feel fulfilled, because you're not going to be able to have that openness, that merge that happens when somebody is very real. It's so interesting because, like, this is like it's very personal. So like I imagine my future. Like when I imagine my future, I imagine having interactions with people that are somehow creative minded, or somehow like very proactive and progressively minded, and having experiences where it's a real experience. So like I might go take a guitar lesson from someone and I might learn something. And to me, that's a very real experience, right? It's real. It's fulfilling. Or I might, talk to somebody that I know. I might meet somebody who, for instance, makes cellos, and I've always wanted to learn to play the cello. So it's like I could talk to that person and have a very real interaction with them and really enjoy having that conversation and that experience and then go on to buy maybe a handmade cello or something. Okay, let's just say hypothetically. To me, that's the stuff of life. That's the real stuff. It's not about getting the next best car, the handbag, the the souped up bicycle, the airplane. It doesn't matter about those things really, because if you're having authentic and real experiences with people that are doing things that are meaningful to you, you're going to have a real life. That life is going to be meaningful to you. That life is going to turn into something that's special at the end of the day, because you're not obsessed about the purse, the nails, the capitalism, like the spending, the money, it's sometimes, okay, like, again, there's nothing wrong with spending. There's nothing wrong with wanting things. It's just that this person who is, whether it's you, whether it's somebody else, does not understand what a real experience is. And for those of you who are very spiritually minded, it might be very difficult in the capitalist society to have real interactions with people, to have a gratifying experience, to have something that actually means something, because everybody is kind of on this superficial level. My challenge for you is to think about what peace means for you. What does contentment feel like? What does that mean? And how do you feel like you're going to go about getting that? That's my challenge for you. And I'm going to leave off here. I'm going to take a little break. I might come back and do some live reading on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. I haven't really been able to see if any, let me see my live chat. Oh, Heather said something. Oh, before I go, okay, let me see. Heather says yes. Just a minute. I gotta look at the comments were not showing up. Heather says she has 2 boys, 18 and senior. Yeah, that's constant chaos. Oh my God. Oh my God. I grew up with 2 brothers, and I always say I have 8 brothers because all of their friends would constantly be coming over the house. And like it was constant, like they would just come over at all hours. And then I remember specifically they came over and it was like 10 o'clock at night and my parents were already asleep and there they were making chicken sandwiches. And like, I was like, what are you doing? I think, okay, so, Flower says she's going through a confusing time. I would tell you to book a reading, dear. I would tell you to book a reading because I can't get into it like when I'm doing these lives. I really wish I could, but there's too much energy. So many other people that are going to be watching later in time. So, oh my gosh, Heather says it's constant groceries. Yes. Oh my God. Okay, so this is a crazy story, and then I'll let you guys go. Crazy story about that. I met this woman who had, I think, 5 boys. I don't know if it was 5 altogether. But she I met her at Whole Foods. This was the Whole Foods, I think, in Bellevue. And she bought 20 chickens. She loaded up her cart with 20 chickens. Like, we were in the meat department, and she got 20 chickens. And I was like, what are you doing? She's like, they're on sale. I was like, okay, yeah. But do you need? She's like, yeah, I think 20 is going to be enough. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, my mind was like, they were on sale. I think it was like 2 for $10 or something like that. I don't know what it was, but she got 20 chickens. And I was like, are you going to cook them all? She's like, yeah, I cook 1 a day. I was like, you cook a whole chicken every day? She's like, yeah, I have to. This is the only way to keep up with it. Right, exactly. Heather's like, I have 3 refrigerators and a freezer. This is what I mean. My parents, they had a refrigerator upstairs and then 2 freezers downstairs and an extra refrigerator downstairs. So, I mean, like, it was constant. And I was like, of course my brother's friends were going to come over and eat at 10 o'clock at night. That's where the food was, you know? And the funny thing is I gave my parents so much shit later in life about how there was nothing in the refrigerator ever. But I mean, keeping up with it is ridiculous, when you have that many people coming and going from your house. I can only imagine, and I know my mom, there were times where my mom was like, I'm not cooking. I'm done. And my dad was like, okay, we're going to go out. Right. You barely eat anything and they eat everything. Yeah, exactly. And I remember my younger brother, he would eat, like, my mom would make a chicken and he'd eat majority of the whole chicken. Like, he'd eat the whole thing. And then I was just like, and I remember, I think it was my 18th birthday where I baked this upside down cake. It did not come out like I had anticipated. It's one of the ones that, I look back at some of the things that haven't come out the best. But he ended up taking like the majority of the cake. And I got so pissed. I was like, what are you doing? I spent 3 hours making this cake for my birthday. And here you are eating most of it all at once. And I remember making cookies, and it was like he'd take his arm and load his arm up like a tray with the cookies, and then take them into his room. He would disappear, and I'd be like, "What just happened? Where did they go?" There were cookies here at one point. Now there's no more cookies, and I wonder who did that. My younger brother. Absolutely. No, absolutely. That takes the cake. No, yeah, he totally. Yeah. Yeah, my brother absolutely ate. I don't know how much of that cake he ate, but I was just so mad at him. Like, I was so mad because he was eating so much of it. He was 16. He was 16. He was 16 because I was 18. So, that's where we were with that. But no, he was about to turn 16. I think he was maybe only 15. That's terrible. Oh my God. No. So yeah, crazy stories. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for, she's saying she hides like things. Oh yeah. The thing is my mom used to stash chocolate, and then we would find her stashes underneath at the home. We were so terrible. We'd be like, Mom, your stash is gone. She'd be like, what? We'd be like, yeah, we ate your stash. It's all gone. The chocolate's gone. I don't know. And like, yeah, we used to go through food, like as kids, just we went through so much food. And the funny thing is that my dad kind of got into this mode of like overbuying. So he'd go to this place in Connecticut called Stu Leonard's. He loved to go shopping, and he would go to Stu Leonard's. Like, there's only I don't know if there's more than one Stu Leonard's, but there's only that one that I know of in Connecticut. Okay. And he would bring home like bags and bags of groceries and line up like all this juice and stuff. And he like eventually I was like, Dad, what are you doing? Like, why are you buying all this stuff? We don't need it. Like, like this is later in time. Like, he was still in the mode of overbuying so that we'd have something to eat. It was great. I don't know. He'd go shopping, and he enjoyed shopping there. I remember him enjoying shopping there. It's a fun place to shop. It always was. But I'm gonna let you guys go. I've been on here for an hour, so can take a little break. Maybe come back on Instagram. Don't know yet. Wish you guys all the best. Like I said, if you want a private reading, definitely hit me up. OracleDaphne.com. Yeah, Heather, you're going to feel like the house is super quiet, like it's a tomb. Have a good day, silly. You take care of yourself, okay? You stay positive, and maybe go get yourself a matcha green tea latte and flirt with the person at Starbucks, okay? Absolutely. Have a conversation about life. Talk to everybody, and you're never going to be lonely. So, all right. Send you guys big hugs, big kisses. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. All the best. Bye.